Hello. So, first off, I would really like to thank Mondiale for the opportunity to be part of this YouTube series and share half an hour of my day, my process with you. Um, so, who am I? I am Ty Rell, Tyrell02. I'm 20 years old. I work at Foot Locker in Berlin on Kudam, um, which is just what I do to make some money. I enjoy it. But what I do with a passion, what I would like to make my money with, unfortunately, I cannot make a living out of it right now, is rap and hip hop. So, where I started is I got a piece of production equipment called the Machine Micro MK2. I'd stumbled upon it when I was surfing the net, and I'd kind of just wanted to have it. I think I was 12 years old, and it was about 350 euros with the equipment. No, with the software. Sorry, the equipment. The Machine Micro MK2 is a hardware piece. With the software that it came with, it was about 350 euros. The way I got this is, of course, I didn't have 350 euros when I was 12. I convinced my dad that it counts as an instrument, and instruments are expensive. So I guess part of my talk today is to say that I've learned that starting beat making does not have to be something that costs you 350 euros plus the access to a laptop or computer of your own, and then whatever else in storage space. Um, yeah, and of course, rap. All you need is actually, you don't need anything. You need a pen and a piece of paper. I think you could argue you need a pen and a piece of paper, but you can freestyle with a friend. That's about it. And if you have a smartphone, which is really what I'm arguing today, or what I would like to show you today, it can take you a very long way in being able to be creative, practice your craft, and maybe one day when you get whatever equipment, which is extremely expensive and kind of scary to look at and seems so far away, um, then you'll know a bit better what to do with it, and you won't be starting from scratch, and that you can start basically today um, for free to start making beats, writing rap, being creative. Or if you're already someone who writes rap, makes beats on maybe a friend's computer, or has an interest, plays guitar, anything. This is a way I wanted to show you something that I'd been doing in the last, I want to say, a year, as I had been producing or making beats on my phone. The reason I had been making beats on my phone is because I didn't have a laptop. My laptop broke 3 or 4 years ago, and so the laptop I'm using today to record this video, actually, I got 3 days ago. But in the time being, from when I got the Machine Micro MK2 when I was about 12, 13, till today, which is about 7, 8 years, stuff had to happen. So I was using the Machine Micro MK2 for about a year or two, maybe 3 at the most. This is a long time ago. And I kind of started gearing away from beat making more and more. I had a lot of friends who made beats. I wasn't really running out. You can always find beats on YouTube. You just type in your favorite rapper's name, and then you go type beat, and then you get a load of beats that you can just start to freestyle rap on and write things to, just to get started. So I wasn't really in need of beats per se, and I noticed I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to rap. That was my thing. I wanted to feel the energy. And I guess I'm a bit vain. But so I stopped producing, to be honest, at some point. And when I started rapping more and more and more, I was feeling like, I was listening to a beat and I was like, yeah, I like it, but it doesn't quite have that what I want to have. Yeah, I like that, but I don't it doesn't have that what I want to have. And I was getting beats from friends. I was like, yeah, they're nice, but I wanted to have something more like that. And I noticed more and more I really want to have control over what tempo I'm rapping in, what am I actually rapping on, what does it sound like, does it lend to my sound? Because I also found that I was um, rapping in different styles that maybe weren't exactly what I wanted, and I wanted to be able to control most of the process as possible, and to make sure the art I'm bringing out is as much me as it is possible. Um, so, but by that time, my laptop was broken. I didn't really use my machine anymore. It doesn't really work without a laptop. I'd given it to my little brother to make beats. He was also making beats for me, which were also very nice. Um, and I needed to figure something out. So I looked into a lot of production things you can do on your phone directly, and there's of course a lot of free ones. You can always Google free DAW digital audio workstation for Android, for Apple, for whatever smartphone you have. Um, and there's a lot. You have to try them out. A lot of the free ones are demo versions. They're a bit convoluted. They're a bit hard to see through what's going on. And because I had experience with a different DAW, which is machine, I wanted to have something that reminded me or helped me use the skills that I had gained previously. And so the one that I use and I would recommend costs about, I want to say it costs about 22 euros, maybe somewhere between 15 and 25 euros. It's FL Studio Mobile. FL Studio is Fruity Loops Studio. Fruity Loops on computers and laptops is used in all types of music today, or mainly trap music, and it's used very professionally as well. It's a lot of the producers that a lot of people know these days, like Metro Boomin, for instance, if that's a name too, whoever's watching. He uses Fruity Loops to produce, and I want to say some other names, but before I do that, I'm just gonna leave it at Metro Boomin, because with that one I'm for sure. But the point being, it's a very popular DAW, and they have a app for your phone that you can use to produce. And so, of course, there's all types of alternatives. Machine has iMachine, which unfortunately was only an Apple option, and I don't have an iPhone, so I needed to get an option that works for Android. And there's other things. Soundtrap works online exclusively. So my little brother, when he was on his year abroad in Japan, he was doing that and sending me beats through Soundtrap. And he just needed a laptop. They have an app now too, which I haven't tried out, but you can also use that, for instance, which is completely free. I think you can pay for it, but you can do, I think, 5 beats for free, and then you can always take one beat down, so you can export it, and then the website thinks you have 4, so you can make another beat, and then you've got your exported beat somewhere, wherever you saved it. So without further ado, let's get into the actual DAW that is FL Studio Mobile. So what I have here, you can see, is the track list. Basically, I have on this side, on the left side, we have all the different tracks. So I have, in this project, I only used 3 instruments. I have the chord progression, which was originally made in a piano sound, but it's actually a synth sound now. Synths are electronic. They're like simulators of instruments, and then you can have a synth, and then with different settings, it can sound like different instruments. Most DAWs use a lot of synths. So I have the chord progression on synth. I have the drums, which is used with a drum sequencer, which I can show you right here in the edit mode. So a very classic Fruity Loops function, but I'll get into the drums in a second, or later. I wanted to get into the chords with you first. And then here, of course, I have a little strings part. So I can always click on the little section, easily press copy, and just paste it wherever I want, really. So now I'm going to paste it there, and I'm going to loop this section just so I can show you what the chord progression sounds like. Now I could get into different simple music theory things, and we could be talking about music theory for a lot longer than this. I still don't know very much. I've spent countless hours with my dad just theorizing about things like this, and he really understands it more. He's a jazz drummer, and it's a whole world for itself. It's an art for itself. But there is a simple thing you might want to understand if you're producing. Oops, sorry. So here I can always pull up my piano and adjust the size. It's pretty intuitive, to be honest. So here I have an octave. So an octave is, of course, from one note to the higher note. Oops, sorry. And why it's called an octave is because it's 8. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The piano is built in a C major scale. So the major scale, very simply put, is what you see on the piano all the time, the C major scale. So this is the C, and then if you do a whole step, you get D. You do another whole step, you get E. And you do another half step, you get, F. Right. And that the major scale is basically 1 to 2 is a whole step, 2 to 3 is another whole step, 3 to 4 is a half step, all the way up to 7 to 8 is another half step. Now this might sound really complicated, but it's essentially really simple. If you have C as your root note, then D is the 2. And because there's a black note in between that we don't count, this is called a whole step. It's 2 steps. So that's actually a whole step, or 2 half steps. Now the C scale is built easily, so I know, okay, whole step, half step because there's no black note, whole step, again no black note. Now if you went into a different scale, so let's say if I did it from the D, now the D major scale is a bit different and includes some black notes, because from 1 to 2 we need a whole step. Now from 2 to 3 we need a whole step, so I can't go right here because that's a half step. So I go 2 to 3. Now I have to do a half step, so I don't jump to the next black note, I jump down to the white note, and so on and so forth. Simply put, how I build my chords is I usually start out with a little simple progression. I think on this one, my progression, or like something very simple that I thought sounds good. So on this one, I started out without all of these top 3. I can easily drag and delete. So boom, and this was basically it. So it sounds pretty bland. What I did then is I added a few things. So I made, first of all, I made them into simple chords. So I'm going to take off the top bits just so you can understand. Simple chords are made out of 3 notes. So if I was to build a simple C major chord, what I need is the 1, the root note, the 3, a triad, and the 5. Actually, wait, it's a triad chord. See, I'm getting the terms messed up a little bit, but I need the 1, the 3, and the 5. What I mean by that is the 1, the 3, and the 5. That's a simple C major chord. So there are also, which are the chords I usually use, jazz chords, which usually just add a 7. So we have 1, 3, 5, 7. Oop, 7. Make sense so far? Okay, that's cool. Happy it does. So here we have a simple. Whoops, sorry. And so sometimes you will see that the 3, if you're paying very close attention, was not technically at where the 3 was supposed to be. Now here comes the C minor chord, where you would usually, or always actually, sorry, instead of taking a normal 3, this 3, if we're talking C minor, you make the 3 a half step smaller. So we go. And if you are making the jazz equivalent, which is a C minor 7, you make the 7 also a half step smaller. The 5 stays where it is. So the 1 and 5, 1 and 5. Yeah, 1 and 5 stay the same. And then 3 and 7 get smaller. So what you'd have is 1, small 3, 5, small 7. So what I did then essentially is I added a small 7 here and a big 7 there, and I kind of just figured out how it sounded and how I liked it, and I got my simple chord progression going through that. I'm just gonna have to click the undo button a bunch of times until we get back to the original chord progression, which was this. So I ended up with this through, of course, at the start I had the 3s, all of the 3s just simply at the start with everything else. I thought that was a bit bland, as you can hear. So I kind of put the 3 in each chord a tiny bit back, just to add some sort of rhythmical flavor, if you will. So here we go. So, of course, that sounds a lot more dynamic than just having the simple 4 notes that we had at the start, which is this. Which you're also able to do all types of things with. But it's always good to have some sort of a start that is simple, in my mind, so you can build up on top of it and try yourself out. You'll always discover new things. I always try to have 4 chords. I guess in this one it's 8 technically, if you see that the top note always changes and making it a different chord each time. Why I like to go in groups of 4s is because 95% of music written today, or that we listen to, or 95% of popular radio, Spotify, hip hop also, is written in a 4/4. The only type of music I can think of right now that is not written in a 4/4 is a waltz, which is written in a 3/4. So a 4/4 is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. Now a 3/4 is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, the waltz. So basically that was my chord progression. I could get into what it was and blah blah blah, but it's not that important. So of course now the next thing I wanted to add to my chord progressions, or to my chord progression, was drums. Drums are essential to all types of, especially black music. Rhythm is very key. And so I just, I went into the drum sequencer, which I will right now, and oops, sorry about that. That's my phone telling me I should update it. And so the drum sequencer, here you can see I have the kick and a bass drum. This kick, bass drum. I have the snare and hi-hats. Now you might notice I have 2 snares, both at the same point. This is because I layered them to kind of make them sound fatter. So here's what I can do. I can solo 1 snare if you want. Sounds good. You have, as you noticed, it kind of had this bounce. That's because the snares are on the 2 count and the 4 count. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the classic snare placement you do in boom bap and old school rap. What they do, which I can show you right now in trap, is usually the snares on the 3. Now the reason they do the snares on the 3 is because boom bap is usually at a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, whereas trap will be a lot faster. So boom bap's usually like in 95 beats per minute. So if you think about it, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 4 beats. Now if we have 95 beats per minute, that's the speed. That's the speed we talk about. Trap will be in a lot higher speeds, like 130. Before I get it wrong, I can show you with a metronome. So if I play this, so if I play this, so here I have the snares at 130 BPM. And then, sorry, if you want to hear it down at 95 BPM, which is also a classic boom bap BPM, if you will, it sounds something more like this. And as you can hear, the snares feel slow. So in boom bap, they are usually put at 2s and 4s, as I had them. I worked in a 110 BPM. Okay, it's right between what I've been talking about right now, these 2 types of BPM, but it doesn't really matter. You go with a BPM that you feel comfortable with, and it's your music at the end of the day. But here are the snares on 2 and 4 at a 95 BPM. So you get it. So I'm going to go back to the BPM I was working at, which is 110. And the reason I had the snare, which we've been listening to, layered, as I had been talking about earlier and lost my train of thought, my bad. The reason I had it layered is because, in my opinion, it sounds a little bit fatter. Fatter. Yeah, here. So I think you can hear that. It's a bit more, it bumps more, basically. I noticed right now that the sound quality might not be that good because I'm still very new to this whole, how I was setting it up, and I wanted to have the screen recording. Excuses, long excuses. I hope it doesn't bother you too much, and I hope you understand what I'm talking about. So now I had a kick pattern, which was also very rudimentary, very simple. What I definitely wanted to have was always to have the kick on the 1. So I'll show you what it is when the kick is only on the 1. And I'll just go back and undo it when it's ready. You hear what I mean? Now, of course, that sounds also, where's the bounce? We are used to having a bit more kick in the music. Haha. So I'm just gonna add the kicks back, and I hope this changes it. You should be able to see through the screen recording that I'm doing blah blah blah, that where they are situated. Of course, the drum sequencer is built in 16th notes. That's a whole other thing. Yeah, here it is. Right. And now I added what is very popular. It's the hi-hats. Now I did not have any formula for the hi-hats. Also, all these formulas that I'm telling you are more like guidelines. I think all rules in music are guidelines. It's good to know rules to break rules. It's always good to know what you're doing, what other people do, but you should always stay creative. That's what it's about. It's art. You can do whatever you please, what you want. So with my hi-hats, I simply just tapped and tried out until I found something that sounded good to me. So I had the closed hi-hat, which is that, and I also had a open hi-hat, which I just added once, only at the start, because it sounded good to me. So basically, here's what the full drum pattern sounds like. Then throughout, yeah, that is my full drum pattern. Throughout the structuring of the song, I kind of took parts out. As you can see here, I can play that little section for you. Oops. Have to close the loop. I just took out certain bits. Here I took out the snare and one of the kicks to kind of add a sort of difference, so when they come back you kind of feel it. Now, one other part of the track that I did put in to kind of add some sort of heightening throughout the second part was I added strings. What I did with the strings was really simple. I took the top notes from my chord progression, so so basically what I'm trying to highlight right now, but just basically the very top notes of each chord, and I just simply stuck them into the strings, as you can see here, put them in the right place, and then they fit with the different chords and don't sound out of place and sound like they belong to be there. So this was the hook part, if you will, and then went into, and as you can notice in this part, I took out the drums entirely, and I wanted to bring them back with a little bit more, and so that when the drums come back fully, it doesn't feel like they've been there the whole time. Just little things you can do with the structure. So as I'm looking at the time, we're getting close to the end. I wanted to, of course, just tell you quickly a little bit about the structure. I have a very simple, classic, what you'd call like a hip-hop structure. I have an 8-bar chorus or 8-bar hook bit, and then a 16-bar verse. This is 16-bar verses are just the norm, the classic in hip-hop. Again, guidelines, don't need to stick to them, but I thought for this track, if I'm just showing you a bit of hip-hop, then I would make it just the classic guidelines. So I will be presenting to you the track and the lyrics that I wrote to it right here. I haven't been able to drink water in a long time, so wish me luck that I don't stumble on my words. But hey, if you're still listening to this, you deserve my best and my greatest. And if you're still at this part of the video, I really appreciate it. So let me get into it. Give me a second. I'll pull up the lyrics. Of course, I had to export the given track so that I can use the lyrics at the same time. Let me find all of that. Boom. And oh, 1 second. Of course, I want to have it in the other. Ugh. Great. Boom. So yeah, I'll be presenting the track to you. You should be able to read along with the lyrics if you want to. They're right down here. Hit him with the force and the course didn't know. Power that is yours and it caused him to grow. A round of applause, yeah, it's opening doors. Now you're feeling the warmth and you're feeling it slow. Hit him with the force and the course didn't know. Power that is yours and it caused him to grow. A round of applause, yeah, it's opening doors. Now you're feeling the warmth and you're feeling it slow. Alright, now I'm doing what I like. I just wanna rap a little, I just wanna write. Alright, now they're passing me the mic. I'm just gonna do my thing, I hope you think it's tight. I will not lie, I'm no politician. I had my doubts, but right now they're distant. Had a couple dark days, I don't miss them. You don't get far with a clouded vision. It's okay, it might feel like a Monday. It's okay, it might not look like a runway. It's okay, but you gotta stay hungry. Next thing you know, you'll be making the monthly. When you hit the ropes and you gotta do the most. No, you cannot coast when you start to get close. When your passion echoes and your practice unfolds, you remember all the lows and embrace where it goes. Hit him with the force and of course didn't know. Power that is yours and it caused him to grow. A round of applause, yeah, it's opening doors. Now you're feeling the warmth and you're feeling it slow. Hit him with the force and of course didn't know. Power that is yours and it caused him to grow. A round of applause, yeah, it's opening doors. Now you're feeling the warmth and you're feeling it slow. No stress, I'm just giving it my best. No flex, yeah, brother got regrets. Oh yes, gotta get it off my chest. Got next, gotta put it to the test. What's this and what's that? They be saying who this and who that. Man, I guess the truth is we all back. Whoever get the love in, the impact. Brother, I know that some make it seem easy and that you think you can make it, believe me. Some they be jealous and some they be greedy, so they embellish and try to deceive me. No, I will not blame a brother for wanting cash flow. I've been working minimum wage and paying tax, so I've been feeling frustrated, a little hectic, so I do not throw a fit, I stay collected. Hit him with the force and of course didn't know. Power that is yours and it caused him to grow. A round of applause, yeah, it's opening doors. Now you're feeling the warmth and you're feeling it slow. Hit him with the force and of course didn't know. Power that is yours and it caused him to grow. A round of applause, yeah, it's opening doors. Now you're feeling the warmth and you're feeling it slow. So that was the track. And also with that, that was the video. It's been a little bit longer than half an hour. I hope that no one minds. If you're still here at the end of the video, and I really appreciate it, I really do, then one thing, if you could do this for me, it would be really cool. If you could put in the comment section, just write skirty pop pop dizzle. Actually, no, skirty pop pop. So SKRDIPOPPOP. It would make my day. I'm no joke. I would. It would make my day. If you want to follow my progress and such, I do have a SoundCloud profile. That's a capital T, small y, dot, capital R, small e, LL. Ty Rell. I should be the first person that pops up. If it's not, it's like a green background with a black TY dot written on it. That's my like header picture. There's only one track on there, which is a repost of me and a friend. We do the Afronauts project, blah blah blah. Anything else? You can also follow me at Ty Fresco, TYFRESCO, on Instagram. I'll probably be posting whatever I post music wise. I might be posting this track soon. Not sure. Still thinking about it. Anyway, I'm very thankful. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah. See you around.